Want a jazz tune that's simple, sounds amazing, and every guitarist should know? Today I'm breaking down Blue Skies. We'll cover that classic minor rundown, clever use of the minor 4, and I'll show you how to comp it in the classic swing guitar style. Blue Skies was written by Irving Berlin in 1926 for the musical Betsy, and it had quite the debut. On the opening night, the audience demanded 24 encores of this song. Now, I don't think contemporary bands are that generous with their encores, and maybe in a comment below, what's the most encores you've ever seen at a gig? And Blue Skies has a very simple tune. As a result, it's a favourite song of singers, with my favourite version being by Ella Fitzgerald, but I'd love to know in the comments who your favourite version is by. Who knows, maybe even the Willie Nelson version might be yours. Now, the tune is in the classic 32 AABA form, which is so typical of the time. Typical keys that it's played in: F major and C major. We'll play it in C major, what's sometimes referred to as the people's key, because there's no sharps or flats. I think it's a great key to learn songs in because you can get that basic knowledge of a chord progression in the key of C first and then spot it in other songs you learn in the future. Let's start by looking at the chord shapes you're going to need for this one. Now, the first 4 chords very much come as a group, and we've got this A minor triad. I'm doing a bar here. So we've got the root, 3rd and 5th. Then our next chord is going to be A minor with a G sharp in the bass. So A minor / G sharp. So you're just dropping the bass note by a semitone. The minor cliche, the minor 4 down, here we have. A minor / G, our 3rd chord. I've gone to like an A shape as a bar, and then A minor / F sharp. So we've gone from A minor / G sharp, A minor / G, A minor / F sharp. So those are our 4 chords that will form the minor rundown when we put it together in time. We then have C6 off the E string, A7 off the E string, 3-note voicing, D minor 7 off the A, and G7 off the E. B minor 7 flat 5 off the E string, E7 off the A string, F minor 6 off the A string, and finally G7 / D. So that's a G7 with the 5th in the bass. Any diagrams you see on the screen today are available on the lowest tier of my Patreon page, the supporter tier, link in the description and the pinned comment. There's a few ways you can play the opening chords and a few ways you could name them, to be honest, but just keeping it really simple, we start with an A minor triad to A minor / G sharp. So the bass note has gone down a semitone from an A to a G sharp, from the root down to the major 7th. We're then going to go down to the minor 7th, A minor / G, to A minor / F sharp. Piecing those 4 bars together, we have which starts for a really interesting, kind of moody feel, really, for what is actually quite a happy song. And that happy feel finally comes in harmony with this C6. We have this turnaround here, this C6 to A7, so 2 beats on each chord there. D minor 7, G7 before resolving back to C6 for a bar, and then picking up B minor 7 flat 5, E7, half bar on each, giving us that second line being, in the first A section, being C6, A7, D minor 7, G7, C6, B minor 7 flat 5, E7. put the first line and second line together for the opening A, and we have this: A minor slash G sharp slash G slash F sharp, C6, A7, D minor 7, G7, C6, B minor 7 flat 5, E7. That's our what we call the first time bar there. The dots here, the repeat dots, take you back to the beginning to pick up the second A. That starts in exactly the same way. So A minor slash G sharp slash G slash F sharp. Love the melancholy feel of that progression. C6, A7, D minor 7, G7, C6. We're just going to sit there for 2 bars. This is the second time through. The second A section, we skip out the first time bar and jump to where it says 2 with that bracket over the top. Put those 2 A's together and we have the following: 1, 2, 3, 4. A2, so just talking points there. Really, obviously, it's very similar. The second A section, just we've got resolving to the C chord and staying there for 2 bars before the B. Which, by the way, on these AABA standards is a very common thing to do. We finished the second A on a C6 and we're going to stay there to start with for the B section. So we're going to go C6 for a measure, then we're going to go F minor 6 for 2 beats to C6 for 2 beats. Do that again, F minor 6, C6. Before this, kind of closing off the first line of the B section, G7 slash D, C6. You could play G7 there. I just think that G7 slash D works particularly well with the way the changes fall. So piecing that together, C6, F minor 6, C6, F minor 6, C6, G7, C6. Now, just a little thought here. You might be thinking, oh, interesting, we're not using major 7ths. We're not using F minor 7 or C major 7. There is some reason behind that. The tunes in the older kind of style, this is from 1926, there is more prevalence of minor 6 as opposed to minor 7s, and 6th chords or 6/9 chords as opposed to major 7, or for that matter, even just plain major or minor chords. You might see some charts with major 7, but I feel like these kind of chords voiced this way with the 6th is more in keeping with the feel of the song and from when the song came from. Second line of the B is identical to the first line apart from the final bar, so we're just going to go C6 again, F minor 6, C6, F minor 6, C6, and then B minor 7 flat 5, E7. And again, notice the end of a section, these things are happening in so many of these songs. The end of the B section is about going back to the first chord of the next A, which is why that E7's there, which we'll come back to. The B pieced together, C6, F minor, C, F minor, C, G7, C. Do that again. Then we go back in for a third A, which I'll put on the screen, but it's just the same as the first one. Now, if you were finishing the tune, you'd stay on this C6, but if you were going round and you want the tune to cycle round for solos more times through the form, then you want to pick up the B minor 7 flat 5 to E7. But if you finish, you do not want to play those 2 chords, otherwise you're committed to going again. You finish on the C6 when you get to the end of the song. In the majority of settings as a guitar player, when you're comping this, you're probably going to want to do the classic 4 to the bar swing feel. And key things to achieve a good swing feel and good tone when you do this is that dampening. That's the release after each strum, after 4 strums in the bar. and also a slight emphasis on beats 2 and 4. And of course, smooth chord changes and a relaxed feel. Don't death grip the chords. You don't want to play with any tension for your comping to sound good. Now, I'd suggest you practice this for either playing along to recorded versions in this key. The Ella Fitzgerald one is in the same key. I think the Peggy Lee one is too. And the other things you could do, you could practice to a swung drum beat. You could practice to a metronome on 2 and 4. Both of those things I found very helpful to get this kind of thing together. Or play along with me now. I'm going to play it once through for you. This tune works really well as a medium swing kind of tempo, so I'm playing this at 1:30. Metronome's going to be on 2 and 4, no affiliation. I use the one called tempo, it's free. You can just click on the beats, and I've turned off beats 1 and 3. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Go around again. Now, a key thing to mastering any standard is understanding the harmony, understanding how the chord movements work, the relationship between the chords. If you don't get this stuff, then I just think you're making things harder in the long run. You miss the opportunity to spot similarities between songs and attach meaning to chord movements and chord progressions. So at the top of the video, we're in C major, the people's key, the easiest key to really understand harmony from, where you want to start to. And that is the case of just taking the C major scale. You notice my preference for playing that on one string. Why? You can see the distances between the notes. C, D, E, F, G, A, B. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we build chords, harmonize each of those notes. Typical way to look at it is in sevenths. We'll come back to the sixth in a second, but if I harmonized each note of the scale, so I built a triad, 1, 3, 5, and then added the seventh to each chord, we'd get the following chords. C major 7 chord 1, so that's what we call the tonic, the really important chord that you want to the song's often trying to get back to, and where the song feels like it resolves to. Chord 2, D minor 7, 3, E minor 7, 4, F major 7, 5, G7, 6, A minor 7. You see A minor features in this one. Chord 7, B minor 7, flat 5, back to C. Just listen how they all... You got the scale there, right? Just in harmonized form. Now, just so you know, in terms of the way sixths and ninths work, you can build other chords from the scale. You can add other extensions, change the seventh to a sixth. And so instead of C major 7, C, E, G, B, we can have C, E, G, A, which is 1, 3, 5, 6, which will give you a C6 chord as opposed to C major 7. Song starts out on chord 6, A minor, and then the next three chords are just variations of chord 6, really. I don't want to get bogged down in too much of this, but this is the minor rundown. It's essentially the opening to Stairway to Heaven as well, right? So it's a very common musical progression. Now what happens, you take the root of a minor chord and you drop it down to the major 7th, to the minor 7th, and to the 6th. I mean, it's just a beautiful thing to be able to do on the guitar. If you were playing a minor 2-5-1 in A minor, B minor 7 flat 5, E7, you might go... use it as a way to embellish your chords. That sort of thing. You know, it's part of my rhythmic vocabulary, if you like. Or comping vocabulary, I should say. And I've always found his songs with minor rundowns, you know, It's a very emotive and interesting progression. It's got that wonderful movement, but it can sound very melancholy. And I say that's interesting paired with the very happy words at this point in the song. After the minor rundown starting out on chord 6, we resolve to chord 1, C6. This is the first appearance of chord 1. And then A7, we don't get A7 in the key of C major, but it is one of the most common secondary dominants you will get. Here on the screen are the secondary dominants you get in the key of C major. Now A7 in C major is what you would call the 5 of 2. It's the dominant chord of D, or D minor. So we're putting this A7 in here to lead us to the 2 chord. So this little turnaround here goes C6 chord 1, what we call 6-7, the secondary dominant, which leads to D minor chord 2, to G7 chord 5. So this is just a 1, 6, 2, 5, a classic cyclical progression, and it's very common for that 6 chord to be changed to a dominant to make it have more momentum and forward movement. We resolve then to chord 1, and then we have B minor 7 flat 5 E7, which hopefully you can hear is leading us somewhere. It's leading us back to A minor, back to chord 6. Why use those 2 chords there? Again, like the A7, E7 is a secondary dominant. It is the dominant of A minor or A major, so it will lead us perfectly back to our opening chord. So there's a couple ways you could look at that E7. The B minor 7 flat 5 E7 is a minor 2-5 from the key of A minor, and what we've done is we've turned really chord 3 into a dominant to lead us back to A minor. Second A section's the same apart from the end, the last 2 bars. So we've got the minor rundown chord from chord 6, and then we've got the turnaround of 1, 6, 2, 5 before we resolve back to chord 1. And that's where that, you hear that the turnaround, it leads you back to that chord 1 to resolve before the song then goes into the next section. The B section starts out on chord 1, C6. Then we get an out of key chord. We get an F minor 6. Now if you remember when I harmonised the scale, we did get F because chord 4, but we got F major 7. And what we've got happening here is a really classic thing you get in many styles of music, and that is turning chord 4 into a minor chord as opposed to a major chord. So instead of having F major, which would sound nice and bright, we've got F minor, which again, it creates that melancholy feel. It's a very emotive progression. If I play chord 1, maybe if I play chord 4 as a major, then minor, back to chord 1. And the minor 4 works really well at going back to chord 1. So, and that's what we're doing here. We're going C6, minor 4, back to 1, minor 4, back to 1, and then we're just going to simply go 5, 1. It's like, oh, we finished this line, full stop, that 5, 1 does there. Repeat that. 1, 4 minor, 1, 4 minor, 1, and then we need the 2, 5 of A minor to lead us back to the next A section. So a big takeaway there, if you're in the key of C, F minor is a classic out of key chord to go for if you want a really emotive point in the song. Songwriters use it all the time. And just knowing that chord 4 is often changed to a minor chord for dramatic effect. The third A section is obviously the same in terms of harmony as the first one. What you want to do with that theory is learn to hear it all. You want to learn to hear what a minor rundown sounds like. You want to look up other standards with that in, things like My Funny Valentine, Putting on the Ritz. There's loads of them that have it. And getting used to that sound, so when you hear it on a record you go, oh, I can hear the minor rundown there. Or, what does the minor 4 sound like? Look up other songs with that as part of it, and you get an ear for it, and eventually you hear these things without needing to look at a chart or needing to pick up your guitar. And those kind of skills are important, that kind of knowledge, because that takes it away from just chords on a chart or theory in your head to sounds. And so that's the whole point of this theory for me. It's not just to understand it, it's to understand it theoretically and then to know what these things in practice sound like. If your swing rhythm isn't quite where you want it to be, then check out this video on the screen, which breaks what I spoke down about earlier, the swing feel, how to practice it, down in full. Don't forget to check out my Patreon page for the resources from today's lesson, as well as other jazz guitar learning resources. Now, a couple of viewers have asked me recently about my Buy Me a Coffee page, which I haven't used for ages, but I have re-enabled it and put it in the description for those that wish to support the channel in that way. Thanks as ever for watching. You leave any comments or questions below. Until next time, you take care.